if you think of your life and then thinking of death actually makes you want to live, and what if today was your last day on earth? What would you do? Sometimes, we're living like a robot life. We're just, it's like another day. But what if this was your last day? What would you do differently? What would you do differently? My name is Dania Vanessa, and I'm an emotional intelligence mentor at bossofmyfeelings.com. And today I would like to discuss the importance of not waiting for an awakening in your life to start your healing journey. In my life, I realized that a lot of people just continue to go on living without addressing any of emotional pains that they probably have buried inside, and they keep wondering why things don't get better and why things aren't changing and we're not where they want to be in life, or why isn't anything that they want happening. And sometimes it's because we keep ignoring things that have happened in the past. And my goal here is to make you realize that you shouldn't wait until an awakening happens in your life, something that can shake you and put your world upside down, literally. It is important that you start having a real look inside of your life and within you, of what's happening. Because if not, two things can happen. Is one day you're gonna wake up and you're gonna be in the same position you were 10 years ago, and that's like the worst feeling ever, when you're not in your life where you want it to be and you haven't achieved anything that you want from life, and you wonder where all this time has gone and what happened that you weren't working towards what you want. For me, my awakening journey, I've had like several intense awakenings that have shook my core intensely. First, when I was very young, I had to experience the loss of someone, and that did wake me up in my life a little bit. But then later, I almost lost my life in a car accident too. So I'm just calling you on not waiting for a wake-up call to anything to like really shake your core, to make you wake up to your life. This is your life today. And if you're carrying with you some emotional baggage, some emotional pains, today's the day to do something about it. And sometimes we avoid it because we know we're going to have to revisit things that we don't want to. But there's two things that we are not trying to do. We're not trying to remember to relieve past trauma, and we are not just like to torture ourselves with remembering things, but just to find clues of things that might help us figure out where we are today. We just look to see if maybe we have unconsciously memories, we have buried memories that might be changing and affecting the decisions we make today in our lives, especially if we have beliefs that were embedded in us growing up from the adults that raised us, and these beliefs are no longer helping us in our present, in our lives. And especially if these beliefs, you really have to evaluate them to make sure they're not false beliefs, because these are, if you have false beliefs and in your life. That's where you make decisions from, and that's how you believe the world is, but that story might not be true, and these beliefs might be actually sabotaging your life. For example, that when I was growing up, my father didn't approve of me of going to ballet, and he thought it was a waste of time and that I wasn't going to have a career out of that. But what if you just go to ballet for, your physical health, to exercise, and because sometimes you also need to wind to release those wires of stress. What if it just was my gateway to cope in a healthy way by taking ballet from the stress from high school? But he made me give it up, and I gained weight after, and that didn't help me. I stopped exercising, that didn't help me feel better. So sometimes we have to be careful when these false beliefs are sabotaging your life. And how about other beliefs is that, for example, around money, is that money is dirty. And if you think that, then you're not going to attract or welcome money opportunities in your life. And so if you could imagine your grave today, what will your obituary say about your life? I know it's kind of like a paradox if you think about it, but it's, if you think of your life and then thinking of death actually makes you want to live. And what if today was your last day on earth? What would you do? Sometimes, we're living like a robot life. We're just, it's like another day. But what if this was your last day? What would you do differently? What would you do differently? Another way to think about it is, what if you died and you get, someone comes, an angel or whatever, and tells you, okay, you have one more day. What would you do in that one day? Okay, the point of these exercises are just to bring some perspective into you and help you experience an awakening before life gives you an awakening, before you're forced to see an awakening. So you really have to wake up today and see if what you're doing today is what you want to do, if the people you're surrounded with are the people you want to be surrounded with, if it's really worth your worries, what you're worried about right now, is it worth it? What project have you stopped doing that brings you bliss and happiness because you're so caught up in the routine of your daily activities? Also, another good practice is gratitude. If you write down, and it really helps you go to sleep at night. And this is something that I haven't been practicing, and I've been having trouble going to sleep, but is to run in your head a list of things you're grateful for. Because that's another thing that you don't want to happen in your life, is that when you're not appreciating things that you have right now, if they're taking away tomorrow, and then until that happens, you're going to see them. Until that happens, you're going to appreciate them. So you don't have to wait for an awakening to realize what you had. For example, some people, I try to be good friends, or like, for example, family relationship. You try to be a good family member or a good person to anyone, the work, anywhere in school, and they don't appreciate you and they take you for granted. And then when you remove yourself, now they appreciate you and they're looking for you, or maybe they don't, and maybe that's why you should remove these relationships from your life. So a good thing is to write down things you're grateful for. Gratitude takes away feelings of emptiness and lack, and it makes you appreciate and magnify everything that you have. And because you're in this place, you start to bring more things into your life that make you feel good. Another thing is that we sometimes don't want to face what's bothering us because we're too scared to see what's in there, or what is it, or we just want to be in denial. But I am encouraging you today to begin and take a look before life makes you have an awakening. And if you're terrified of, really facing what's bothering you, do it with baby steps. Don't just shut it down. It is better to do it just baby steps if necessary, but start taking action steps towards your healing journey in dealing with your emotional pain. Life is not meant to be constant torture. It is not perfect and it's uncomfortable sometimes, but it is important for us to really do the work. Nobody else is going to do it for us, and sometimes it's hard because we feel afraid or we're scared of really, facing the truth. But I also wanted to invite you to join the Facebook group. I added an EFT video for self-esteem. I don't know if you're familiar with EFT. EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique, and it's one of my favorite practices to, cope with icky feelings, sucky feelings, sad, emotional pain feelings, because it brings them out. You speak them, so you release them, so you're not ignoring them. Because there's, when someone tells you, for example, don't think of a purple elephant, okay, don't think about it. That's all you can think about it. So if you say purple elephant, purple elephant, purple elephant, purple elephant, then it starts to fade away and lose its intensity, right? So that's the goal of EFT, is to bring to the surface whatever is bothering you. Hey, Mama! And because you're vocalizing it and you're expressing it, you're actually releasing it. So you're not compressing emotions and building it in like a volcano that's about to explode one day, because I used to do that a lot. So EFT lets you vocalize it and release it. If you can also just write it down in a piece of paper and then burn it, or then slash it into little pieces. And the point is not to shut down emotions, ignore them, but to hear them out. Maybe there's a clue there of something that is showing up in our lives. So I hope this helps you, and don't be afraid to start your journey, an awakening journey. You're worth it, and this is your life now, today, and focus on one moment at a time. And that's my best advice. So welcome awakenings. Welcome an awakened life. This is your life. And the paradox is, to think of death makes you appreciate life. Sending you love and light. And remember, it's never too late to change the story of our lives.